What's happening? Still a nation, still a family. What's the dilly? How's everybody doing? Sorry about that, guys. I'm adjusting the microphone. I still got to get me another mic. I don't know what you call this piece. Not the stand, but the harness, I guess. But that's neither here or there. What's happening, Still a Nation, man? Welcome to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement, a.k.a. the virtual Heinz Field. What is happening? What is happening, guys? And first and foremost, man, you guys saw me put the little timer up. Let me see something. Hold on. Okay. So it looks like it starts accordingly when I cut it on. All right, great. So we're going to get that started once I dive into the show. Because like I told you guys, it's all about condensing the show here in the off season. Not a whole lot to talk about, right? But we'll try to make it happen. But anyway, man, let's say hello to the early commenters. Rajon39, Charlie Brown, Aaron Morris. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing, Miss Lanisha? Hello. Thank you, Miss Lady, for coming through and hanging with the boys. Jay Waller 412, Steeler Lee, C. Antoine Hill, Jared Devil, Ali Howard, Wide Diggy in the building, my good buddy Ron Simpson Gaming, Joshua Shields, is it Dark Storm 1? I think I got that correct there. Who else? Tyrone Johnson. Who else we got up in here? Relfax in the building. Who is that? Ill Will. Okay, what's happening, Ill Will? I appreciate that, man. Let me read your comment. Might as well. He said, "What's up, Sim, man? I've been around, sub to your channel since 2011, and I remember that time you joined one of my parties and chopped it up. Shout out to you." Hey, I'm glad I did that, man. I don't, I'm being honest, I don't remember. I've jumped in a lot of parties, but again, I guess that just shows my personality. I was happy to do that, man. So, I'm glad that you remember that, and I'm glad, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you hear about these stories when dudes just, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's just not me. So I'm glad to see that I'm living what I preach. Lydell Dorsey, and we'll end it right there. I'm Mark Malone as well. Single worst mistake they could possibly make this offseason, hands down. We're going to get into it. Like I said, guys, the main topic, the meat and potatoes topic tonight will be, should the Steelers draft up, or trade up, rather, to get Malik Willis? And again, it's just a topic. It's not to say that I think they should. It's not to say that that is the quarterback. It's just a topic, and I'll give you my 2 cents on it. I'll wait until after the phone calls to give you the meat and potatoes comment there, or topic, if you will. But let me let you guys know exactly what, few topics I will get into tonight. Of course, that one, we'll talk a little bit about, again, the quarterback class, man, as far as these guys. Kenyon gave you guys a great rundown last week, man, on the Still Table. And we know who these quarterbacks are. We pretty much know who the free agent guys are. Excuse me, guys. Had a little tickle in my throat there. Let's see. We'll also talk about the Steelers' hiring of Pat Meyer. Mayer, I think it's Meyer, offensive line coach. Not really familiar with him. You guys know how I feel about coaches. Sometimes I don't really know what they do, what their aspect is, as far as what they bring to the table. I'll talk about that in a bit. A little bit about Joe Schobert as well, man. I saw the Steelers Depot had this topic up there, and this was something that we kind of kicked around as well, man. Joe Schobert's contract. Is that going to keep him in Pittsburgh? Also, the Steelers have not named a new general manager. And then one other topic I want to throw out there, man, are the Steelers players comfortable with Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins? Good question, right? So let's jump right into it, guys. Let me cut on the timer. Boom. Counting down. Let's get to it. We don't want this show to be extremely long tonight. So the first topic I will hit, guys, let's see. Let's get one of the rando ones, the ones that's not so important. Joe Schobert. Let's talk about Joe Schobert a little bit. Listen, I don't know exactly what his cap hit is, but I do know his contract is pretty high. That was a conversation that was had even during the season. right? And the question is definitely going to come down to whether or not his contract is worth it. And actually, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up, guys. I'm gonna, y'all don't mind, right? Let's see. Let's see if I can find it here in real time. I don't think that information is on Steelers.com, but let's just take a peek. If not, I know there's a place where I can find it. But give me a second, guys. Let's see. Where is Schobert? Joe Schobert. Where are you? Where are you, buddy? And let's see if we can find that information. Let's see. Man, the cold air really be affecting me, man, nowadays. It's weird, man. Go outside and the air gets in your chest a little bit. I don't understand it, man. It really really affects me from time to time. That's why, have that little, and I just came from outside. I was taking the trash cans around the back. It was trash day today. And I'm telling you, man, for some reason, every time I go outside, the air just gets into my airways, if you will. Let's see, guys. I don't know if that information is... No, I don't think it's on... I do not believe it's here on Steelers.com, but give me 2 seconds. I'll find it somewhere else. And again, I don't know how accurate these numbers will be. But we can kind of guesstimate it, all right? Joe Schobert's contract. See what he has here. So, according to, this is SpotTrack.com. So Joe Schobert, in 2021, he earned $990,000, okay? So let me just go through it. Base salary in 2020 with the Jaguars, he would have earned at that point 2.5, okay? In 2021, with the Steelers, he earned $990,000. In 2022, he is set to earn 8.75. Okay, $8,750,000. 2023, he's set to earn $10,250,000, and in 2024, he's set to make $10,750,000. So, with those numbers, I ask you guys as well. Will Joe Schobert be a Pittsburgh Steeler in 2022? My answer would probably be no. No disrespect to Joe Schobert. I just don't think Joe Schobert has, and again, it's a curve, right? It's a learning curve. He came to us, in the season. I know people feel like things like that don't matter. People sometimes feel like, you going from this scheme to that scheme doesn't matter, but it does, right? So maybe it does take him a little bit to get adjusted. But are we willing? Are we willing to pay 8.7? Are we willing to pay that to see if he's able to be further on the moving train? I don't think so. Again, the Steelers are definitely slated to have some cap space. We all know that. But that's a lot of money to throw out there, right? But the interesting thing about it is we don't have a whole lot of depth at inside linebacker. Some of us aren't as high on Devin Bush anymore, right? Hopefully Devin Bush can return and be what we're projecting him to be, 1 year removed from his injury. We'll see. I don't know. But we're pretty thin at inside linebacker. It will be interesting to see what the Steelers do in free agency and via draft to address that position. Shout outs to Luis D. Round of applause for the donation. Luis D, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, I'm right there with you. He says, should the Steelers just draft Tyler Linderbaum and give Mason a chance at least for one more season since the better quarterback class is coming in 23? I don't see where anyone could disagree with that. There's arguments that can go both ways. I don't know if you can always disagree with the Steelers drafting a quarterback this year, right? Because that's what happens, folks, when you're in a rebuild. There's a lot of positional needs, and you're not going to hit on both. You're not going to get them all. We just saw that in 2021, right? Okay? We gambled. We went and got Najee, in the first round. Some people still don't like that, but I guess the Steelers, again, they're going to draft best player available. A talent like Najee Harris is sitting there. I guess it was hard for them to pass. I'm not mad at the pick. I'm not mad at that. Also, second round comes around, they probably did the same thing. Best player available. You get a guy like Pat Meyer that looks like he could be a career-long, a lengthy career as a tight end and a very successful one. So you hit with those two picks. Both of those guys showed what they can be and where their future might be going to. But then you take a gamble and you don't get your first offensive lineman until the third round, and you get Kendrick Green, who was a project center. And we see how that turned out so far. So it's one of those things. They're probably in the same situation this year. Again, always got to see what free agency does. But they're in the same situation. Do they go balls to the wall, shoot for the stars, get you a quarterback this year and hope one of those guys pan out? Or do they skip quarterback entirely and they build around a Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins or perhaps another free agent? So I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, guys. The offensive lineman definitely has to be in play. So, but let me get back to what I was saying, man. I don't think Joe Schobert has, again, no disrespect, man, but the eye test and what we guys saw from the week in and week out basis, he has not earned 8.75 for next season. I'm sorry. So I think he could very well be a cap casualty. I would not be upset with that. I just want to see us do something with the cap space. I want to see us utilize the cap space well. Yes, Kevin Colbert has been a great GM, in my opinion. We've been frustrated with Kevin Colbert for, a number of years because, he went with the whole traditional Steeler way. You know how the Steelers do. They always call it the garbage can shopping and all that. And for the most part in Kevin Colbert's career, he has been a great GM, even finding bargaining pieces. People always talk about guys like Ferrier was one of our best free agent acquisitions, that was during Kevin Colbert's tenure. So, but I definitely want to see a different approach with the Steelers not having the $100 million quarterback on the roster, and they have some cap to work with. I want to see how they maneuver with some legitimate cap space. And even creating more cap space if necessary, like letting a guy like Schobert go. It's going to be very interesting to see how they approach it. But those are my thoughts, guys. I just don't think Schobert has played into that contract. It's just my personal opinion. Next on the topic, let's see what else we got here. Steelers have not named a new general manager yet. They have interviewed quite a few people. I mean, so many people now, I can't even keep up with the names. The last guy was, what was his name? Spizek or something like that. I know I'm butchering his name, but I think he's from the Bucks. That's the most recent guy we heard. We heard several others. Louis Riddick was a topic last week. We heard about him. We've heard about the internal guys, Brandon Hunt and Omar Khan. And there's a couple other people I think have been interviewed. So the Steelers are taking their time, apparently. AR2 did kind of say that in his interview that, they would be looking to hire and, hopefully they would be looking to get it done soon. But he said it could be soon. It could be, right at or a little bit after the draft. So who knows? But it is interesting to see that the search is really out there. So obviously they're trying to find the right guy, it seems. They're doing their due diligence. And even what I said last week, remember I kept saying, again, I'm saying this as an African-American minority person. I am the one that keeps saying, I hope we're not doing that. I don't want to be the team, even though, we introduced the Rooney Rule, I don't want to be the team that's just trying to meet a quota. So it's good to see that the last GM that was interviewed is a non-minority. And the reason why I say it's good to see that is because now we know it's not a sham, right? Now I feel like that Omar Khan, Brandon Hunt, Louis Riddick, and this guy Spizek, whatever his name is, guys, somebody put his name in the chat. Now we see that it's a real hiring process, and that's all I wanted to see. That's all I wanted to see. Absolutely. I want equal opportunities for everyone, but I just don't want it to be a sham. And I think you guys understand what I'm saying. All right. We got another donation. Round of applause to Steeler Lee. He says, do you think we need to implore more of the Rams' ways of free agency and trades for more immediate success? That's a great question, man. That is a great question. Until recent years, well, recent week, recent couple days, right? On Sunday. Until Sunday, some people would say that the Rams' approach didn't work. But look at that. They won a Super Bowl. They went out and did it. They went and acquired. I mean, guys, if you look at what the Rams have done over the last 3 seasons, putting pieces together, trading for guys and all kinds of stuff, and they did it. They built a quote-unquote super team, or, I don't know how super of a team you want to call them, but, they put the pieces together. They went all in. They got them a Super Bowl. And like Kenyon said last week, they are about to be salary cap is going to catch up to them big time. And you might start seeing them start to fall off in terms of the talent. But it worked. It worked. Would I like to see the Steelers do that? I don't know. Like I said, I don't want it to be results bias. That I see them win a Super Bowl and let's just say within a 5-year time. I don't know if I want to just go off of that. Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of build through the draft and develop your team. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for the most part, Kansas City did that, right? When we talk about the big name guys, these guys were drafted. Your Kelce's of the world, your Hills of the world, your Nicole Harmons of the world. And he's the forgotten man. People don't talk about him enough. Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Like, even with some of the pieces that they acquired on defense, like Nick Bolton, I think is going to be a solid. I would love to have a Nick Bolton, that inside linebacker for us. Played very well. The other name that always comes up, Creed Humphrey. See how they're doing it now? Yeah, they didn't win this year, but I'm just talking about since they acquired and drafted Mahomes, look at the success they've had kind of going through the draft. Free agent, Tyrann Mathieu, of course, and, a couple other pieces, but for the most part, their heavy hitters were draft guys. So when you look at it like that, I'm cool with the draft process. But, excuse me, like I said, guys, I get it. When you see what the Rams just did and they just won, I understand why some people would want to go that way. We got another donation, guys. Round of applause. My man Q, I believe. You right on time. He says, thoughts on the O-line coach hire if you didn't say so already. I didn't say. I'm about to say it next. And I will definitely give you my thoughts. And you guys know what my thoughts usually are with positional coaches, but I'll get there. Let me see. Did I skip anything before we get there? General manager, Joe Schobert. All right, let's get to it. So the Steelers hire Pat Meyer. I tell you, boy, when you're an MC, rhyming words just find its way to you, right? It's always going to be in my background, guys. But let's see. Let's see if I can get some information on him, man. And I know I'm bootleg tonight, guys. I'm doing a lot of stuff where you guys are able to see it. Shame on me, right? But let me pull up a little bit of his history. Well, I don't even have to pull it up. I do know this much. He's recently been connected to, who was it, the Panthers? The Panthers, I believe. Yeah, I believe that he spent the last 2 seasons with the Panthers. But again, I don't really know a lot of positional coaches, and I can't really say what they bring to the table. Let me explain. Y'all know my philosophy. Coaches coach, players execute. I think there are certain things with philosophies that a coach can bring to the table in terms of scheme and, like blocking scheme, whether you're going to, be a zone blocking team and things like that. A lot of times and nowadays in the NFL, the offensive line coach is also the run game coordinator. So they have a say in certain runs that you run. Like, remember, we used to be more of a power run team. We didn't do much of that this past season. And again, that could be partly personnel. But we used to be a team that ran power a lot. So little things like that, I think, is where the offensive line coach, puts his hand and puts his imprint on the game plan, et cetera, et cetera. But also, is he a leader of men? Can he motivate and things of that nature? These are things that we never can tell, right? All you do as fans, and I'm including us all in that, you can only speculate. We'll never know what Ike Hilliard did or didn't do. We'll never know. There's no way for us to know. Most of the time, people look at the production and they will say, oh, that's what the coach did or didn't do, right? So let me ask you this. We all can agree that our offensive line wasn't great last year. Do y'all think that had everything to do with Adrian Clem? Or was Kendrick Green really not that great of a center? Somewhat of a weak link on the offensive line. Did some decent things in the run game when he, was able to get his hands on people. He also was very agile. He could move. But we saw how Kendrick Green struggled a lot against power, how he was able to be dominated with certain pass rushes, mainly bull rush. I don't think as much a coach can do in that regard. Now, can you teach him different techniques to anchor better? I'm sure. But what I'm saying is if we look at our offensive line and the guys who were on that offensive line, can we say when Trey Turner struggled, it was the coach's fault? This is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm just saying these are things that I can't confirm. But as fans, we do that a lot. Just because somebody's not having success, you automatically say the coach is bad. And that's from the head coach all the way down to a position coach, all the way down to a special teams coordinator. Truth of the matter is we'll never know the impact they had, right? A lot of times, we give a lot of credit to Mike Munchak. I like Munchak. I liked his personality and all of that, him being an ex-player and all of that. But then again, look at the people that we had on the offensive line when Munchak was there. You understand what I'm saying? So can we all the way say as the position coach? So my thoughts on Pat Meyer, he seems like he has a good resume, but we'll see. I don't know what his impact will be. I hope it is something that we can identify and it'll be great, like scheme-wise, and we can come back here and say, man, this is what he's doing. Great. But until then, I saw some people saying that the Panthers' offensive line wasn't great the last two. But again, like I said, I don't know if that necessarily means that this guy isn't a good hire. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys know, but I have no way of knowing that stuff. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, I have no way of knowing, man. I have no way of knowing. So we shall see. Hopefully he pans out for the better. And there you have it. I am interested, man, to know why, Morgan didn't get the job, SEMO, as Tomlin calls him. Just interesting to see how all of that transpired. But, people always say they want to see the Steelers have outside hires, right? But as soon as we hire somebody on the outside, you're trashing that. I'm telling you, it's so funny sometimes, and it's entertaining watching us as fans. Because I tell you, us Steelers fans just get too high and too low on everything. It's so funny. Most of us have no idea who this guy is or what he can do. But I think most people were upset because they wanted it to be Munchak again. But again, we don't know. We don't know why Munchak didn't get hired. We don't know if the Steelers reached out to him. Because, see, that's what fans do. We try to talk definitively like we know. We don't know. Who's to say he wanted to come back? I mean, nobody knows any of this. So you can't, in my opinion, say it's a bad hire. We'll see. All I can do now is root for Pat Meyer. That's how I feel about it. And Morgan, like my man Diggy said, it's interesting that Morgan went to the bench. See what I'm saying? Like, did the Steelers not offer him the position? We'll never know some of these things, man. We'll never know. We'll never know. But all right, man, let's move on to the next thing. Then we'll get to the phone calls, and then we'll save Malik Willis talk for after the calls. The next thing I have here, man, is, very simple. I've noticed Juju Smith-Schuster was kind of one of the first guys to say it. Najee Harris has said it. And now T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt is quoted as saying, talking about the next quarterback. And they basically, all of them have alluded to, hopefully the Steelers bring someone in that can X, Y, and Z. None of the team is really talking about Rudolph or Haskins. Is there something to that? Are they very covertly saying that they don't have confidence in Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins? Because you would think, the PC way of handling it, you would say, listen, I think, Mason Rudolph is capable, yada, 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 yada. Or I would like to see Dwayne Haskins get a chance, yada, yada, yada. These guys are going to be able to compete. None of the players are saying that. When all of these players are being asked about a quarterback, they are all referring to, hopefully the Steelers bring somebody in that can, blah, 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 blah. I haven't heard one of them, and maybe they have, but I haven't heard one of them say anything, give it any endorsement to the Rudolph. The Rudolph, the reindeer. We're going to give him two thes. Not just the reindeer, the Rudolph, the reindeer. Nobody's endorsing him. Ain't nobody saying nothing about Dwayne Haskins. So again, how did the team feel? How does the players on the team feel about the Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins? Very good question, right? Very, very good question. Oh, look at this. Look who we got back here. I'm back, see me. See, I told y'all. I told you guys that people that had so much to say on last week's show, they'd be back. I told you. It's weird. That's weird to me. It's very strange to me. But, hey, I welcome you. Let's get to the phone calls, man. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Y'all know the routine, man. Keep it short and sweet. Right now, we only have one call in the queue. It is our good buddy, Mr. Winningham. So let me bring him on. Let me make sure the browser volume is turned up so you guys can hear him. And here we are, area code 803. How you doing tonight, sir?
Good evening. Good evening. I hope everything is well. I wish the ladies a happy belated Valentine's Day. The hire of Meyer, we've gone through 3 internal hires at the offensive line coach. And the last guy was just an interim, but those 3 since Munchak seemingly haven't worked out the way we wanted it to. So maybe it's a good thing having that outside hire in that situation. Speaking of quarterbacks, yes, I heard Najee Harris interview. And if we can find the right quarterback at the right price, I would say yes. Because seemingly these guys believe that, look, if we can find the right quarterback at the right price, someone to at least guide the ship, that we have enough talent to get there. Now, speaking of Joe Schobert, I believe between him, Zach Banner, and maybe Stephon Tuitt, because Stephon Tuitt hasn't only played, 15, 16 games in the last 3 years, we would, make up some salary. Some of that could be going toward Minkah Fitzpatrick's contract so that we can bring in the necessary pieces. But I don't think we're in position to draft a quarterback in the first round. The offensive line has to be our first priority. The one thing about this offensive line, you were speaking of Kendrick Green, who has been working out with Marquise Pouncey lately. Our offensive line this year did not get to the second level. and we haven't had an offensive line to get to the second level in a while. But thank you so much, and everybody have a great week.
Man, thank you, Mr. Winningham. We always appreciate your call, man. Like I said, that is my buddy there, man. He always comes through. He's just got a voice of reason, a voice of wisdom. And look at Mr. Winningham out there, man, being the true gentleman that he is, saying happy belated Valentine's to the ladies. I forgot to do that. So see, Mr. Winningham always reminded me to do stuff. Yes, happy belated Valentine's Day to all of the lovely ladies of the chat, all of the lovely ladies that may hear this show, whether or not you're, here listening or not, you will hear it. Happy Valentine's to you and to all of my fellas out there. Yeah. I hope you had a good Monday. That's all for y'all. But yeah, man, listen, offensive line is gonna definitely have to be. It has to. I know a lot of us are we're getting so wrapped up in the quarterback position. I'm included. We're all included. All of us. But I think what makes myself a little different, Mr. Winningham, Kenyon, Luis D earlier tonight, many of you in here in the chat, I think we're starting to realize that our Steelers are in rebuild mode. And we got pieces everywhere that needs to be filled, holes that need to be filled. So we don't have to bust our guns so early this year and go try to get the quarterback. Maybe you build the team, build the other pieces, get that together, and then you go get the quarterback later. I don't think there's a right or wrong way this season. Honestly, I think if Kevin Colbert, is going to stay on until the draft, this might be one of the easiest drafts that he'll have to be a part of, because I don't think he can miss. As long as he address offensive line and or quarterback, so whichever way he goes, I don't think it's a wrong choice. You can debate it. Some people can say, I wouldn't have done that this year for that QB. Debatable. I get it. This is not the slam dunk projected class, right? I get it. But I don't think he would be wrong if he went after a quarterback, seeing as that your Hall of Fame quarterback has just retired. So I don't think it's no right or wrong. Very interesting. Round of applause, man, to Miss Angie, a.k.a. Steelers, a.k.a. Baby Steeler. Round of applause for the donation. Yeah, thank you so much, Miss Lady, and I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's yesterday. But yeah, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I really don't. There's a lot of directions you can go in it. Wrong would be if they completely blow the first round. And I mean, they draft somebody nobody was expecting, right? I hate to say this because I do like what he's turned out to be. I won't necessarily say he turned out to be first round talent, but it kind of reminds me of when Terrell Edmonds was drafted. That one kind of came out the blue. None of us was thinking Terrell Edmonds at that time. And again, no disrespect to Edmonds, because I like what Edmonds turned out to be, a solid player. Maybe not a first rounder. And I wouldn't mind if they were able to get him back, because I think you keep that unit together in terms of him and Minka. And speaking of Minka, Mr. Winningham said that as well. Some of these guys, you got to consider some of those contracts, man, because you definitely want to get Minka in the fold. And who knows? They might be high, on Deontay Johnson as well. We don't know. We don't know what the Steelers are thinking, but that Schobert contract, maybe a trade of Tuitt, or if Tuitt retires, I don't know. All of that definitely could go, definitely be a part of the money that you would be paying Minkah Fitzpatrick. You heard Art Rooney II say they definitely want to get Minkah extended in this offseason. So there you have it. There you have it. Let's see what else we got going on here. What else y'all got, man? Anything else in the chat? Slow on the phone calls, and I'm fine with that, guys. This is a slow information week. So let me get to my other topic, man. Let me get to the final topic, and we can get up out of here. I'll stay in the chat with you guys for a little bit. All right, so should the Steelers trade up for Malik Willis? Honestly, I'm not a fan of doing that. Let me explain. What's it going to cost? If it doesn't cost for so much, I'm cool with it. I think we outlined on last week's show, if you guys heard it, I'll give you a summary of it here. We outlined the path for the Steelers to possibly trade up. There's a lot of teams, guys, that the Steelers have to be concerned about if they're high on one or two or three of these quarterbacks. You would probably expect that Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, those two are probably at the top of the food chain in terms of projections. Sam Howell, don't forget him. I think the Steelers like him a little bit too. And some of those other guys, I don't know if you're looking at them as first-round talent. Maybe Coral, maybe a team that's not concerned with the mobility will, take a shot with Carson Strong because, he has good tape in terms of his throws. Not singling everything down to just what the Pro Bowl practices show, but if you look at their body of work. The path for the Steelers to trade up to me is Philadelphia. If Malik Willis gets past Washington at 11, the Eagles have the 16th and the 17th pick. The Steelers are picking at 20. The Saints have number 18. They need a quarterback as well. There's a lot of teams looking for a quarterback, but if they get past Washington, I think your trade up happens at 16 and 17, one of those spots, right? And it might not cost you that much to trade up with the Eagles being that you're picking right at 20. That's not going to cost as much. Anything else, you trying to crack the top 10 to get ahead of Washington, to get ahead of any of those other teams that's probably looking for a quarterback, it's trouble time. And I don't know how expensive that's going to be, and I don't know how much draft capital I would be willing to give up. So honestly, listen, I like Malik Willis. He's a raw talent. I just don't know if any of these guys, in my opinion, listen, these are just projections. None of us will never know. We'll see it, right? Because they're all probably going to get drafted at some point. But none of us can tell what these guys are going to be pre-draft. You never know that. Okay, the number one story of them all is Tom Brady. Nobody knew that Tom Brady was going to be what Tom Brady was. Look at guys like Russell Wilson, where he got drafted. Hey, even somebody else a little lesser than that in terms of success, but I think is talented. Look at Dak Prescott, where he was drafted. You never know what these guys are actually going to be. Whether they go in the first round, second round, third round, fourth round, yada, yada, yada. You never know, right? These are all projections. And that's all we can go off of are the projections. So I don't know if I project any of these guys in this class as a bona fide sure shot, gotta have them in the first round. I don't know if I value that. I'm not the GM. I'm not Art Rooney. I'm not Mike Tomlin. I'm not Mike Sullivan. I'm not Matt Canada. I say all of those names because these are the people who are going to have to be in love with this guy to go up and get him, whichever quarterback it is. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of doing that this season, this draft rather. But I don't know, man. But I'm going to tell you what's going to pretty much probably happen if we don't. Shout outs to Lyle McCombs, man. I appreciate the donation. Round of applause. He says, Sim, will you guys do a mock draft or look at players at the needy positions? I don't typically do mock drafts as far as the entire draft. I kind of just look at first, second, and perhaps third, because I'm going to be honest, I don't look at all of the players that intently where I could give us a 7-round mock. Kenyon might be able to do that. I'll let Kenyon answer, here in the chat. And if he wants to do that, of course, we'll do a still table and, and Kenyon, again, our resident scout, But, I'm pretty sure we always try to point out guys to pay attention to, positions of need, and I kind of try to project where the Steelers might draft a position. I might say, I think they're going to go linebacker in the 3rd or 4th or second, I kind of do it like that. And then I look at the talent and say who might be there. But as far as putting like a real mock together, I've never really done that because I honestly just don't look at all of the players that intently to be able to properly represent it. I can usually give you the first 1 or 2 rounds or 3 based off of need. And so, yeah, I'm sure we'll do something to that effect. But thanks for the donation. I had to mute you guys right there. I know y'all didn't want to hear me clear my nose, right? But yeah, that's the path, guys. If the Steelers trade up, I think that's how they do it. I think that's how they do it if they were to trade up. But we do have 2 more calls in the queue, man, so let's grab those. You guys know the routine, man. Keep it quick. Say your piece, and I will reflect. First up, we have area code 313. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, son? This your boy Dukes from Detroit, Michigan.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
I just got a question for you, for the people, but I want to know what y'all think. I know everybody want offensive linemen, that we can get that offensive line. Do you think they need to get another running back, a change of pace back? Because we really don't got one behind Najee. Even though Tomlin loves to run his main running back, he's going to touch the ball over 300-some times during the season. But we really haven't established that guy behind Najee Harris. Will that be something they're going to be looking for in the draft? And second of all, I like the 2nd tier and 3rd tier receivers that we don't have to get one early. We can still get some guys like, late, like Whitehall from Kentucky, and you got a couple of guys down at SMU. They look pretty good to replace, James Washington, and we also got to replace most likely Juju. So y'all give me y'all thoughts on it and what y'all think. You think they should head, to help the offense come along, whoever the quarterback might be. All right. Much love to y'all. Peace out. Have a blessed night.
Man, thank you for that question and call. And, definitely blessings and have a good night to you as well, man. Listen, guys, I want you guys to answer that in the chat as well. I'll look in here while I give my thoughts. Hey, man, listen. He brought up some great points. The running back, I think that one could be less likely in terms of earlier in the draft because I think that the Steelers are still going to lean on Benny Snell, even though he's not a change of pace. And I think maybe they try to see what they can get out of McFarland finally, with him having a connection with Matt Canada and all. Very disappointing how his year turned out. I wouldn't rule it out, though. At some point later in the draft, I wouldn't rule it out, if there's a guy that's there. But the only thing that makes me nervous about that, though, is what you said. Tomlin seems to just be bell cow. That's the philosophy. Give it to this guy and let him run it and run him into the ground. And, they did try to spell Najee, a little bit more than we're used to seeing this season. So if you're going to continue with that mentality, then maybe you do need another like bona fide number 2. So it's something to keep an eye on. But I think that other position that you talked about probably happens sooner. I think wide receiver is definitely going to happen. And like you said, 2nd or 3rd tier guy, speed guy, I would prefer. Because, Juju Smith-Schuster could very well be a free agent. I mean, he is a free agent, but he could very well be gone in free agency. And James Washington, I'm sure, is not going to be back unless they have some type of real conversations. I don't know. So you're already down 2 guys. We already saw, the hit of not having Juju. So imagine going into the season knowing you don't have Juju or Washington, and you're really going into the season with a Deontay Johnson, Claypool, and Ray McLeod are your only veterans. Not a good look. So, appreciate that call, man. So let's grab the next one. and then I guess we can wrap it up. Area code 718. What you got for us?
What's going on, sir? It's Jack Bauer from the chat.
Yes, sir. What's
I know
going on, man?
Ain't none, but everybody, and we all know we need offensive line help. But I think the thing people aren't talking about, we got D-line. If Tuitt doesn't come back, got Tyson's 35, Cam's 33, and I kind of got a feeling he might play another year or two. We're going to have a lot of problems on that D-line. And plus, a lot of people don't agree with drafting Jordan Davis in the first round. But to me, them first 2 downs are important. And the kid's a monster in the middle. And we got the best pass rusher for 3rd and long situations in the game. I think it's a good look for us. We do have to get young on that D-line. And I would not be mad if the Steelers, the first 4 picks, were 2 O-linemen and 2 D-linemen. Second topic is, I would love to have Juju back. I'm a big fan of that kid. I think we need him. Hope the Steelers re-sign him. And third, I wouldn't mind trade back in this draft. We could pick up maybe an extra 2nd rounder. Like I said, go D-line and O-line in first 4 picks. Take care of the rest in free agency, maybe a cornerback, and wait for a quarterback for 23, unless something falls in our laps, trade-wise or something. But that's all I got, brother. Take it easy, man.
Man, Jack, appreciate the call, man. Great topic, man. You know, I can take these headphones off now. Listen, makes a great point. He makes a phenomenal point. D-line is something we need to pay attention to. I think we saw this year the effects of not having horses to help, or a horse at least to help Cam Hayward. That is a very good point. What if Stephon Tuitt doesn't come back? Like you said, Alu up there in age. Cam right behind him. Right? So in the next couple years, we could be hurting that defensive line. And see, this is, again, guys, this is what happens when you go through a rebuild. Now, of course, a couple of us have mentioned this tonight. It's all going to come down to what happens in free agency that will kind of determine what you do in the draft. But let's suppose the Steelers decide, no, we're not going to go quarterback in the first round. I wouldn't be opposed of getting, big boy out of Georgia. The only problem with him, man, is, I guess it doesn't matter so much. I guess he doesn't have to be a 3-down guy, because we run sub-package a lot. But that's the only thing. Do you spend a first-round pick on that position when you don't run base a lot? The counter to that is we're in a division that runs the football. We got 2 teams for sure. Even Cincinnati can run that ball when they want to. But you got 2 teams that are primarily running game. Ravens and the Browns. So, it might behoove you at times, especially with the personnel packages that the Ravens throw out there at you. You might want to come out in base. So it's all going to depend on utilization, whether or not I feel comfortable going D-tackle that early. Because, again, I think I don't know. Maybe he can play alongside Cam, in sub as well. So, again, it's just it has to make sense when you're drafting that type of position. It's going to have to make sense. And are you going to get that first round value out of him? So that would be the question. We did get one more call pop up in the queue. So I will take this last one, and then I'll come into the chat with you guys for a minute, and then we'll be out. So let's grab this last call. Area code 910. What you got for us?
What's up, Sam?
What's going on?
Oh, Freddie, man, I've called back. Just a quick point. Yes, I would move up and go get Malik. It's not, you can get great, but it's not oftentimes you can get special. And not only that, I would get Malik, and then I would go and ask Dallas. It's a guy I've been seeing for a year. He went undrafted. They got him last May after the draft was over. His name is TJ V as in Victory Vasher. He was 6'6" and change. he can jump out of the stadium. This is a mistake eraser. No matter what, if you're in trouble, Malik running for his life, just put it up. Just after this is over with, look at the video of T.J. Vasher and imagine him in the slot, working in the middle of the field. The man's running for his life. Just throw it up in there is all you got to do. 6'7" and can jump out of the stadium and catch one-handed jump balls. That's all I got to say is I would get Malik, and then I would go over to Dallas and ask them what they wanted for T.J. Oh, my God. That's all I got, Sam. T.J. Vasher, just look at his video. T.J. Vasher.
All right, man.
Gotta go.
Will do. I'll definitely check him out. And thanks for the call, man. And that will conclude the phone calls for tonight, guys. But listen, I'm not mad at you saying that you would trade up. Because, again, like I said, guys, the Steelers are in a position where I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. The question I have for the chat, so let's go ahead and get into the chat section, man, and we'll start it off with this question. And it's funny because I actually do know who T.J. Vasher is, ironically, because of Madden. You know, we do the draft class, the editable draft class, and I've seen him pop up in a previous draft we had. But yeah, the question is, if you are for the Steelers trading up, whether it is Willis or pick whatever quarterback you like, if you're in favor of them trading up, let me ask you guys, what is the cost? What is the cost that you guys would accept to trade up? What would be the cost? Like I said, I think my dream scenario would be if we trade up for a quarterback, the quarterback that we want has gotten past the 11th pick. Because there's a lot of teams right there that could go quarterback. If they get past Washington, your next best chance and the next best team to beat out a quarterback pick would be the Saints sitting at 18. So the ideal scenario for me, if we traded up, would be trading with Philly for the 16th or the 17th pick, us coming from 20. That's not going to cost that much, in my opinion. So I asked you guys, what would the cost be? That is one question I have for you guys, as well as any other questions you guys have. It is your time now. We're going to spend a little bit of time here in the chat, and then I'm going to get up out of here. Relfax says, Willis and Pickett are going to be gone early. Coral and Howell will fit Canada's system. Would you take a flyer on either of them in the 3rd or 4th round if they are available? Ooh. Do you think Howell and Coral, is it Coral or Corral? How does he pronounce it? Do you think both of those guys would be in the 3rd and 4th? I actually don't think so, man. I think all of these quarterbacks, let me see. All of these projected the top of the class quarterbacks, they're all gone by the 3rd. I don't think none of them sitting there in the 3rd. That's just my opinion. I think they all gone. One or two of them might fall to the 3rd, but I don't think they get to us. Because those teams I talked about are still going to be there. See what I'm saying? So if they fall like that, them other teams that are in need of a quarterback still pick before us. So that would be my only concern. They won't be there. JJ Walker, no, not at the moment, man. The league I play in, we're fully loaded at 32 users. The Real Deal says, we don't even need a franchise quarterback. We just need a QB1, someone who is on the level of a Dak Prescott. We don't have a QB1 on our team right now. I'm with you. We just need a guy that can come in and play. You know what I'm saying? David Muse says, Atlanta wants a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Calvin Ridley. That could be attractive. It all depends, though, on how a guy like Matt Canada would want to utilize a guy like Ridley, but that could be attractive. I don't know if I would be upset with giving a 3rd for him. Pick up Jimmy G or Mitch. No thanks. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I'd take Jimmy G as a stopgap, but only if he's released. Let's not forget that. If he's not released, we're not trading for him because, again, now you're talking about the salary cap. If Jimmy G is released, I take a shot at him. Why not? I don't want nothing to do with Mitch Trubisky. That's just me personally. I'm sorry. I want nothing to do with Trubisky. And if you ask me, I have nothing against him, but I don't think he should have got drafted where he got drafted. I think Chicago brutally screwed up. They screwed up that draft. Y'all remember all of the stuff that happened for them to get him? Didn't they go up like a spot? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, Kenya says no to Jimmy G. Yeah, it's a tough situation, man. And the reason why, just so people know, the reason why I wouldn't be opposed to it is, again, when I look at our current roster, I mean, anything's better. No disrespect to the Rudolph, man, and no disrespect to him or Haskins, but I'm just saying, any of those options could be better. But it's not like Jimmy G takes us to the promised land. Round of applause to C. Antoine Hill for the donation. He says, I would love Willis, but the reality is we need to build the O-line and D-line. Absolutely correct. Cannot disagree with you there. We definitely do. We need to build a team for these quarterbacks to stand behind. What's Winston doing? We pulling at straws, man. But it's funny, y'all. You guys see, as Steelers fans, do y'all see the type of quarterbacks we throwing out there? we grabbing from a pool of Mitch Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Jimmy G, Mason Rudolph, Dwayne Haskins, Marcus Mariota. Like, these are the guys we talking about. Man, it's going to be a tough couple years, guys. I'm just letting y'all know that. Or we're talking about taking a flyer on one of these guys in the draft. So how about it, guys? What is the cost? I don't think I saw any answers to that. And if I missed it, if y'all can send it to me again. What is the cost? What would you be willing to pay, give up, to move up to draft Malik Willis or any of the other quarterbacks? Round of applause to C. Antoine Hill, another donation. Wow, Dan G says Dwayne Haskins will be the man. Okay, we'll see. But C. Antoine says, and safety, inside linebacker 2, and a corner, CB 1. See, guys? Y'all see how much we need? Get ready. Get ready for this rebuild. Embrace it. Embrace it and enjoy it. Embrace it and enjoy it, guys, because we're not going to be the same old Steelers that we used to. We not. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I know some of the Steelers fans was out there clowning the Bengals, but we gotta see them. They're gonna be a problem for a couple years now. You have to imagine that the Ravens are gonna get back and whip themselves back in shape. If they can stay healthy. And who knows with Cleveland? I don't. Cleveland, man, to me is a train wreck. They've had the talent there, they just can't. I don't know, but yeah, we still gonna have to. Yeah, we still gonna have to deal with them Bengals, man. Let's see. Rajan says I'm not moving up. Juan says we should not move up with this quarterback class. I can't disagree with that. Charlie Brown says Snell is a free agent, and Connor Haywood is probably going to get that running back slot. But is he a fullback or running back? Mutts be nuts. That's a funny name. He says 3 to 4 years before Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, realistically, dog, you're right. Ain't no sooner than that unless some miracle happens. Larry J. Davis says, would like to get Jordan Whitehead from Tampa to replace Edmonds. Okay. I can't really say much about that. Hey, Miss Debbie, how you doing, Miss Debbie? Appreciate it, and definitely appreciate you, man. I can't remember if I responded to your last message that you sent me. If I didn't, I'm sorry, but I will get to it if I didn't. She says to move up, swap first round pick and 22 second round. This would be price, but I ain't trading up. That's not bad. That's not bad, Miss Debs. And that's why I said Philly. Philly is your target because you could probably get that off with them. See what I'm saying? It's probably not going to cost you a lot to get 16 or 17 moving from 20. So that's why I said the Eagles is your target if you're going to do that. That's your target. Any of them other teams is out of reach. It's out of reach and it's going to cost you too much, and I'm not going way up there for anybody in this draft. And again, the last caller said it. I will admit, Malik Willis looks like somebody that could be special. I'm not going to front. Sometimes that talent has to flourish. He got the physical skills. Yeah. So I'm not trying to, disrespect him. I'm just saying it's tough, guys. I'm glad I'm not a GM. Because you just never know. What that dude does look like, if everything could come together, he is a special talent. He's raw, but he is special. So like I said, I'm not going to be mad if they jump out the window and go get him, if they feel that confident. But, But real quick, guys, before I sign off, pop quiz. A lot of you guys know I dibble and dabble with production. The track that you hear playing in the background. How many of you guys can tell where I sampled that song from? It should be easy. Some of you guys that are into music, y'all should be able to pick up on it. But what song did I sample to create this little beat that you hear in the background? Quick pop quiz. I'm gonna take the headphones off. See if y'all got any other things to say real quick before we roll. We're down about 2.5 minutes here. Come on, not you, Kenyon. That game ain't for you. You're not fair. But like I said, it should be pretty easy. Charlie Brown says BJ Hill will be a free agent. Okay. That's a name we can keep an eye on. Brian Williams says keep Edmonds and fix the middle linebacker position. I do want Edmonds back. I'm not gonna lie. I know he's, we've been critical of him over the years, but y'all know I've consistently said that he's gotten better, and I think he played his best football last year. I think he's good at his position in our defense. I think him and Minka together could only continue to grow. Neil says, I saw a prediction that Gilmore is favored to come to Pittsburgh. Gilmore? Which Gilmore? Stephon or the kid from the Saints? What else y'all got? JJ Waller, mostly it depends on what mood I'm in. A lot of times if I just want to, have that old school feel, I just fool around with my MPC. And I just use the MPC software, but I fool with Ableton too. Ableton. And I think I might start fooling with FL Studio. But it just depends on what type of mood I'm in, because you get a different vibe. Like, to me, there's nothing like the MPC, like for drumming and stuff like that. Round of applause to, is it Maurice Hunter? Says Dwayne Haskins never had a true shot. I agree with that. I think he was forced into action in Washington. I do believe that. Oh man, Mr. Covington. I was about to say Mr. Winningham. Mr. Covington, man, Mr. Covington Sr. I appreciate that. Round of applause to you. Oops, sorry about that, guys. Round of applause to Patrick Covington Sr. As I cut my timer off. Becoming an extended family member, joining the channel, I really appreciate that. You have no idea. Thank you, thank you, thank you, especially right now during the off season. And you guys are still rocking with me. The Art Steeler 937 says, I'd like to build around Najee for the most part. Me too. Me too, man. Listen, and I'll make this last point and then I'll get out of here because the hour is up. Listen, don't go, listen, TLC told us a long time ago, don't go chasing waterfall. Just, dog, don't shoot for the stars if the stars ain't really twinkling as well as you want them to twinkle. You don't have to bust your gun and go all out now because Ben is gone. And I'm sure the Steelers are doing their due diligence, but do what's best for the team. If you like a couple of these quarterbacks, fine. But if they fall to you, fine. But I don't think, it's not that I don't like Malik Willis and I don't think he could end up being special. I don't think this is the time for the Steelers to put eggs all in one basket. You need to rebuild the team. Offensive line needs some more assistance. Defensive line definitely needs some pieces to start adding now to rotation because you have guys like Cam and Alu who's going to age themselves into retirement at some point. The cornerback position is a little bleak as well. Remember, the guy that we started liking at the end of the season, Akello Witherspoon, is a free agent. There's no guarantee you get him back. Joe Hayden he's probably played his last down. Cam Sutton didn't really wow us on the outside. You know what I'm saying? I think we do got a decent little talent in Trey Norwood, though. But I don't know I still need to see what he does just playing slot. I like him roaming. I like, he shows a lot of y'all don't believe this, but go watch the tape. He had some really good coverage moments. But it was more out of the dime situation. It wasn't like him being locked in at nickel. So he's still a question mark. We got question marks all over the team, man. We got solidified talent, of course, in TJ. You're going to go get Minka back, as far as extending him. You got those two pieces of the puzzle. Inside linebacker is still a mystery. Will Devin Bush get his head right? Will he come back to being anything close to what we expect that he could be before the injury? Joe Schobert might have to get cut. Cap casualty. I don't think he played well enough to earn 8.75 next year. Then on the offensive side of the ball, we're not confident at center. We're not going to have anybody at right guard right now. If you want to talk about moving Dotson over there, okay, now you got to go get a left guard. Dan Moore, I think, is going to be okay. Right tackle, question mark. Wide receiver, question mark. So, I don't know, guys. I just don't. I don't know if you force the issue and just go put all your eggs in a quarterback basket. I just don't think you can afford to do that right now. I think you have to make your team better. And again, I will finally say this one final time. It's going to come down to free agency, man. What holes can we plug in free agency? And that could completely change the way we approach the draft. How will the Steelers spend the money that they have available to them? What players will be available at what positions? Yada, yada, yada. But as I sit here today, I don't think you go super aggressive, moving up and all that to chase a quarterback when you have so many other areas to fill. And like someone just said a little while ago, build around Najee as far as getting the run game back in order. Get that run game back in order. Same thing on the defensive side. Defending the run game. So you definitely got to be looking at trenches on both sides of the ball and inside linebacker. Those positions are in play. So there you have it. Yes, Tyrone Johnson, you are correct. It is the Bee Gees. The Cooter. You're not correct. It is not Saturday Night Fever. But it is a BG record. And just so you guys know, this was a simple chop up too. You know, it wasn't, you know, a lot of times when I chop samples, man, I try to get really creative, right? To where you most of the time you can't tell what the original record was. But this was just something fun. I did really quick. You know, I was actually watching the Bee Gees doc that was on HBO. And I just was like, oh man, let me go fool around with that record. Something quick and easy, man. Let's see. Yep, More Than a Woman. That's what it is. From the UK. What's happening? What's happening? Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, actually, guys, I was just to show y'all, I was doing some production here before the show started. See, my MPC is on. So, yeah, man. I'm a music head, guys. That's what I do. That's what I do. A lot of y'all know the story, but yeah, that's what I do. And the funny thing is, man, before I was an actual artist, my passion was in production. Well before I thought I was gonna ever actually be a active MC. I was always into production. Kind of fell into the MC thing. I could do that too, and that kind of took off more, and I kind of put production to the side. But now that obviously I'm no longer an active MC, you know, I still got my connection to music, and I just make beats, man. It just makes me feel good because I'm a music guy. So yeah, there you have it. Every record or every beat that y'all have heard on my channels is all of my production. I had thought about it, JJ, man, but I don't know if I got the time to really do it like that, man. But I don't know, maybe one day. But all right, let me get out of here, guys. I don't want to bore y'all with the music talk. And yeah, y'all have no idea. I'll just say this, and Kenyon won't be mad at this, because I'm going to say it and not say it at the same time. Yeah, well, he just said he was born into music. I mean, if y'all knew who Kenyon's mom was, it probably would shock some of y'all. And what I loved about it is Kenyon is just like me. We don't talk about accolades and stuff like that. I didn't find this out about Kenyon until years later. Whereas, you know, some people in different walks of life would have said, you know who my mom is? Blah, 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 blah. It just came up in casual conversation with me and Kenyon. I was like, oh, word? Okay. Oh, yeah. I would say you was born into music, brother. And then, you know, Kenyon has a music background as well in terms of actively doing things. So, but anyway, don't want to bore y'all with that stuff. All right, but anything else? I think that's it. I think that is it. Wait, what somebody say about Kenyon? Y'all said... Oh, he said, no, is that true? Yeah, like I said, listen, I'm not going to put it out there, but just let y'all know. Kenyon's mom is somebody that everybody probably knows, man, from music back in the day. But, all right, man, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here, man. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. I'm actually traveling this weekend. You know, my wife and I and my brother-in-law and my little son, we're going down to Tampa. Would you believe this? This is going to make all of y'all bust out laughing. I have a sister-in-law that's turning 16. And they're doing this nice Sweet 16 birthday party for her. Where we're getting all dressed up and all that. That is the funniest thing in the world. Me and my wife crack up laughing about that every time. 16 years old. You know, we laugh at her pops like, how in the world you got a 16-year-old daughter? But anyway, yeah, so, you know, traveling, and, you know, hopefully I can get some of that nice Florida weather. I see it's going to be 80 plus. Boy, I'm going to be happy to see that. So we're going Thursday morning. We'll be returning on Sunday. And again, for you guys, man, that have been watching the Madden content, I'm going to try to get another video done maybe tomorrow and post it later in the week while I'm gone, just to give you, you know, something to look at while I'm away. But outside of that, oops, baby. Outside of that, man, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week, man. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy this boring period right now of news. And maybe we get something worthy to talk about. Maybe I'll pop up and do a little, handheld something. But I don't know. But outside of that, man, I'm always going to remind you guys, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Cut on your notifications. Hit that like button. And like always, stay safe. God bless. Good night. And I thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.